Oh, hey, Kitty. And what are you doing here? Oh, are you being cute? Well, Kitty, you're just in time for my newest video on Serylda's Grudge Aatrox. That's right, Kitty. I'm gonna be discussing Serylda's Grudge on Aatrox. I'm gonna do a video on Serylda's Grudge. It's mostly just gonna be me talking about it. I'll put in some gameplay stuff, things like that. But for the most part, I'm just gonna be doing a long-winded discussion on it. So, Serylda's Grudge on Aatrox has been getting more popular lately because of me. So I'm going to try to defend Serylda's Grudge on Aatrox because I think it's actually a pretty decent second choice option if you are ahead. Okay, so I'm going to be here. Anything I need to show, I'll put here, but it probably won't be a lot. I've been going Serylda's Grudge second on Aatrox, not all the time, but sometimes. By far, Steric's Grudge is still the best second build option, but Serylda's Grudge, when you're snowballing, when you're ahead, or when you need some sort of anti-tank, is becoming a very, in my opinion, it's becoming a decent option. Not, like direct choice, but it's becoming a decent option for your second pick. Now, I don't think you should go Serylda's Grudge second when you're just playing normally. When you're not ahead, in that sort of situation, I don't think you should go it. Definitely your best build on Aatrox is still probably, in fact, not probably, definitely Gore Drinker, Sterex, Death Dance, Spirit Visage, and then some sort of, fifth item. But you will rarely get to that point. What I also want to note is that we are currently on patch 11.7, so a lot of this could change. Serylda has recently got 200 gold reduced, so that could be reverted, or they could buff it again, or they could change some other things, they could buff some other items. If you're looking at this in the future, if you're coming back to this rant video, then, I'm just pointing it out there right now. So what does Serylda's Grudge do is a second choice that makes it, in my opinion, a second item that's doing pretty decently. Now, one thing I want to say is that I've been going it a lot, second item, and its pick rate has been going up a decent amount, and I assume that's due to me. You can see that people are starting to pick it a little bit more over time, and I'm going to take credit for that one. Anyway, Serylda's Grudge. It slows people, it gives you armor pen, it gives you damage, it gives you ability haste. It's a pretty decent stat stick as is. I could show you some of the numbers, but I think it gives you a pretty decent, not amazing, right? But it gives you a decent damage increase against enemies from the armor pen. And it gives you the slow, which I could show you some videos. The slow is so good. Being able to lock people into your queues is incredible, and if you're ahead especially, and you're primarily chasing people down who are trying to run away, that slow can give you some serious killing power, because obviously if they're not fighting back, then it doesn't matter if you haven't built defenses, right? If they're not fighting back, you're just running into them and slowing them and killing them. So a very large damage spike and this slow to kill people in combination with some teamfight utility through having an AoE slow that is pretty spammable definitely makes this item a decent second pick. Now, I just want to reiterate here that I don't advocate that you build this item second by default. If you aren't ahead, it's going to be a very poor choice. You're going to want to build the more defensive route. Even if you're ahead, a lot of times you're going to want to go with the more defensive route, because obviously once Aatrox gets his Gore Drinker, his Death Dance, his Spirit Visage, his Steric's Gauge, I mean, even once you get the 3 items, right? Even if all you've gotten is your Gore Drinker, Steric's, and Death Dance, and that's all you've gotten to, I mean, he's still just going to be so tanky and so menacing that that's pretty much good enough, in my opinion. But this is a decent second option. I've been going it every so often. It's been doing me okay. Not great, not like, oh my god, this item is blowing my mind, but definitely is a second option in the right situation. It's been doing me really good. You can sort of feel if an item is good or not by using it a lot. When I used Ravenous Hydra a lot, especially when I got nerfed, I thought it was doing okay. It wasn't doing terribly. It was doing okay. And I didn't really feel like it was worth, swapping into that choice. You have to remember that a lot of these high damage, low pick items will have very high win rates because it's people that are snowballing and they're pretty much going to win the game anyway, that they're opting into these more high damage routes. It's mostly those people going these items, which again is why Serylda's Grudge has also been, you know, doing good for me, because I'm typically snowballing or I'm ahead in the games I go with. But importantly, at least for me, if I am snowballing and I am ahead, there is an advantage to being able to just close out a game and win it, right? And so if I'm closing out a game and I'm winning a game, then yeah, having a lot of damage and having these slows to ensure that you're getting these kills is a pretty good choice. So, those are the things that Serylda's Grudge does good. It locks down games, it gets you kills, and does a lot of damage. Now, what it does bad, obviously, is it makes you squishy. So typically what I've done, and this is actually more of a playstyle change here. If I'm intending to go Serylda's Grudge, Serylda's Grudge, let me look this up. Serylda's? Is it Serylda's? Serylda's? No, there's no Y there, so it's Serylda's. Serylda's. So I've actually been saying it wrong this whole time. Serylda's. Okay. So Serylda's Grudge. If I'm gonna go it, I typically decide before I go it if I'm gonna go it or not. Like, I don't typically like opt into it. What I've typically done is, if I'm playing into a matchup where I know second lane and bone plating won't do a lot, either just the champion has a lot of ways to bypass them, or it's just a safer matchup against champions that won't really go super aggro, I've opted into going conditioning now, and this goes back into it. Serylda's Grudge doesn't give you any more defensiveness. So what I've typically done is adopted a very farm-heavy playstyle where I try to maximize my gold gains. Instead of going for harassment or going for potential kills, I just try to farm as hard as I can, and I use conditioning, and I go for the macro farming, and I just try to eke out as much gold as I can to get to the Gore Drinker and the Serylda's Grudge. And I'll typically have the conditioning at this point. The conditioning will give me enough defensiveness that I don't instantly explode into a million pieces. That's a problem with Serylda's Grudge on Aatrox, is that because you haven't gone Steric's Gauge, you have a bad tendency to instantly die in a team fight. Just blow up. Generally speaking, you don't want to instantly die. That is considered a poor decision for your team. So, anyway, if you go Serylda's Grudge, you typically want to know beforehand, right? And this is why I'm saying it's a very niche option, but a potential choice, really, is that you need to know really beforehand if you want to go it, so you can pick up conditioning. You can still go it, obviously, if you're snowballing in your head and you need it, you can still go it. But when I've gone it, when I've seen the most success with it, is when I'm preparing for it by going that conditioning, by going the super farm heavy route, instead of, you know, trying to roam or, you know, harass my opponents, set up ganks, stuff like that. You know, I just go for super farm heavy. And I'm not saying that, you know, getting good roams in and getting good ganks for your jungler is obviously good. You know, that just generates more gold overall, but you can often find yourself in a riskier position doing that instead of just, you know, permalane holding and farming up. You can set yourself up for Serylda's to try to mitigate some of the weakness of it being very squishy. You try to farm your way into it, and then once you're ahead with this item, you can kill people really hard. Now, just to be clear, whenever people ask me, what are some good things to do on Aatrox other than the best options? Well, the best options are the best options for a reason, okay? So, just to be clear, I would never suggest this item if it was just like an option that was weaker but could be fun. Okay, I think it's a legitimate second choice. Okay, I don't think this is something to do if you're just bored with the meta, or, you know, it's a side grade option. No, I wouldn't. You guys know me. I would not suggest things just for fun. Okay, if something wasn't actually good, I wouldn't tell you guys, oh yeah, definitely go this, you know, item, go this route. No, I would just say go with the meta. Now, going into that, yes, going the meta route is going to do you a lot of good. Generally, being unkillable is very, very powerful. But an advantage that Serylda's Grudge has as well is that, remember, Aatrox heals entirely on his post-mitigation damage. Not pre-mitigation, post-mitigation. None of his healing is pre-mitigation. None of it at all is pre-mitigation. That means that getting the armor pen and therefore getting the damage increases his healing directly. If I was to do, for example, 28% more damage, I think it's around 200 armor, you get 28% more damage, maybe 300, I don't remember. Anyway, if I was to get 20% more damage, that's 20% more healing directly, other than things like the Gore Drinker heal. Now, the Gore Drinker heal is a big deal, but, obviously other things can matter. At any rate, the Gore Drinker heal is the only one that Aatrox has that isn't post-mitigation damage. So if I was to do 20% more damage, it's 28% more healing. So that can add into a lot of more healing from the item, and that can be a lot more survivability, and especially fighting certain champions, healing that much more, dealing that much more damage can really change things and make you the winner. So at any rate, I just want to say that yes, the default build for Aatrox, Gore Drinker and Dysterix, and then Distance or Spirit Visage, typically Distance because of how the meta is playing out right now. But typically that route is extremely powerful. I recommend most of the time, and for most of you, you should just go that route, okay? But if you are snowballing and you want armor pen, or you want to close out a game, I'm just suggesting this is a decent option that you can go. I've done it a good bit now to I've done it enough times that I feel pretty decently safe suggesting it. That's one thing that I find pretty important for my suggestions, is that I would only want to suggest something if it was an actual choice, an actual good option. I wouldn't want to suggest something if it was just, again, I know I just said this earlier, I wouldn't want to suggest something if it's just a side grade, or, I mean, a side grade would be fine. I would never suggest something that's just like a fun secondary choice if you're bored. No. I don't just suggest fun secondary, board choices, okay? I think that this is a legitimate option. There's a reason I haven't made a video on like Ravenous Hydra or Black Cleaver or anything, because while those maybe sort of have their purpose, I find in 90% of, like not even 90, like 99% of the time, other than extremely niche, very specific scenarios, those items are never going to outperform just going with the normal build route, okay? So, for example, like if you have a tank and you've overstacked physical and they have a tank and you need to like shred armor for your 80 carry to kill people, yeah, like I guess in that very very hyper specific niche situation, Black Cleaver can do well. But what I'm saying is that Serylda's Grudge is good in a lot more situations overall than either of these choices, and should be your legitimate second choice. But again, like we're talking very niche here, okay? We're talking the item like Sterix Gauge should honestly like 70-80% of the time should be your second option, okay? Like it should practically always be your second option. I'm just saying that there are niche situations where you can go Serylda's Grudge, okay? So that's basically all I wanted to say. I hope you all enjoyed at least listening to this. One thing I wanted to do with these videos was get more to a let's call it like a, I think you guys enjoy more when it's more of a like freeform style, instead of like trying to like write a script and read things. And I think I speak a lot more naturally that way as well when I can do that. And maybe that's because of my ADHD and other things, but I read off a script very 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 poorly. At any rate, thank you all for watching, and if this goes over well, I'll probably do more of these. I'll probably call it like a Hashinshin rant series, something like that, right? And I'll try to put in some gameplay and some other things. This isn't just me talking for like 15 minutes. And what I want to do is I want to ensure that also this can be used sort of in a podcasty way, that you guys could just load it up and listen to it when you're in the car or something like that, And yeah, so nothing I edit into this video. Hopefully nothing will be too distracting from you guys. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all for being here. I will try to keep the editing down to a minimum. Sometimes I try to edit as much as I can. I'll try to leave in the pauses and things like that for this one. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. It's Easter today. Anyone watching it after today, I won't wish you a happy Easter because it won't be Easter. But for those of you watching it specifically today, even though I don't think I'll even upload it to tomorrow, so for those of you who are, I guess, just me, thank you for watching it on Easter. me. None of you guys hope. But thank you, everybody. Have a great day.